It's time for Making a Living with Maggie Mistel, one of the nation's best-known career coaches. Ready to soul search, research, and job search into your ideal career? Career Happy Hour starts now.
Hi, welcome to Making a Living with Maggie. I'm Maggie Mistel, your career coach. Excited to be with you in the last month of the year. Can't believe it. It's been an interesting ride, mostly good. But I, like many people, am excited for the new year. And with that, I'm dreaming big. That's what I've been up to. This holiday season is a wonderful time to reflect on where you've been and where you want to go. I also worked on my own personal branding with a new business card design, and I'm thankful to the very talented designer Allison Crawford for helping me with that. They just arrived this month, and I posted a picture on my social media pages. You can find them on Facebook at Making a Living with Maggie Mistel. I'll also post a picture here in the show notes. But you'll notice what's important is that water is on the front of the card. Yeah, water. And for me, water represents the water element that is present in my personality pattern in my career area. And water element, we all have it to some degree, is associated with creativity and the gift of intuition. And intuition can show up as messages or whispers, which you might have at times or might dismiss. Sometimes we do that. But with the personality pattern assessment, myself and my clients have started to realize that gifts like intuition are very powerful and an important part of what we're here to use. One client, in fact, had a dream that she was in an office at a desk and people would come in and ask her questions. And she would use her intuition and give them answers, and off they would go. And for this client, this was a very powerful realization that she was meant to use her intuition in a leadership role rather than in a doer role. And she's since repositioned herself at work and is much happier doing what she's really here to do. And again, water is also in her career area. We all could have different elements in that area, and that's why the personality pattern assessments are so helpful. You can actually get a specific read on your own individual pattern. All you need to do is share with me your birth date and a photo, believe it or not. And the 5-element system has 81 patterns and gives you insights into your age and stage of life and career, your career aspect, your main personality, even where you go or what you do when you're stressed, and how to get out of that feeling, how to get back to the healthy version of your pattern. I've done personality pattern assessments for myself, my family members, my clients, and I've gotten great reactions. People have said things like, "That's exactly right," and 100%, "That's me," and "Thanks for this." And wow, it really hits home. So if you want to find out your personality pattern, see the link in the show notes. And speaking of learning something new, I also taught a client a new way to look at her 2024 career action plan using something else, another great tool called SMART goals. And if you don't know what that is, SMART goals have been around, but they're still very effective. So I like tools that are effective. I continue to use them. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You can take any goal and make it SMART. Why would you want to? Well, let's just say that you can get much more clear on what you're looking to do with your time and talents when you use the SMART format. So as you think about your own 2024 resolutions, you could check out my YouTube channel. It's at Maggie Mistel, or just search Maggie Mistel on YouTube, and watch the complete 4-part video series I have there on SMART goals. And you can actually take your New Year's resolutions, put them through the SMART framework, and make this the year you achieve all of your New Year's resolutions. That's right, make them SMART. And to help, I'll also include a link to those videos in the show notes. Well, in this episode today, I'm so excited to bring you a guest who knows how to create and maintain a thriving and successful brand. She's done it for Martha Stewart. She's done it for herself. Recently been named PR CEO of the Year. So you know it's working. She's definitely getting her own brand out there. And as we close out the year and look forward to another, I thought it would be a great time to reflect on our brands. Think about it. What still works for you in terms of your career or personal brand? And what would you like to let go of? What's no longer really fitting for you anymore? That and more tips for managing your career brand will be up next. So stay tuned for more right here on Making a Living with Maggie. Who wants to travel to Spain this summer? Who wants to discover history, appreciate architecture, learn a new culture, and experience delicious cuisine? I do. How about pairing those experiences with wine in two of the best wine regions of Spain? Yes, see, sign me up. Join this 6-day, 5-night luxurious wine journey curated to be the perfect wine-focused holiday. Perfect if you want to get an immersion in Spanish wine and gastronomy. Perfect if you want to combine wine with history and heritage. And perfect if you want to experience luxury travel. This trip includes visits to multiple wineries in Rioja and Ribera del Duero. It'll take you through the history and art of Spain, including museums, cathedrals, and historic sites that will impress and elevate your appreciation of Spanish culture. Led by local bilingual guides with extensive knowledge of Spanish wine and all the destinations on the itinerary, this stay luxurious journey leaves from and returns to Madrid. Departure dates are in June. Find out more and download the full itinerary at stayluxurious.com. A link will also be in the show notes. Kalia Bransons Van Dyke is an American television, film producer, actor, and voiceover artist. Her career highlights include working on developmental theater at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center, on Broadway at Richard Frankel Productions, and 12 years at Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia. That's where we met. There, Kalia worked on The Martha Stewart Show, Martha Bakes, Martha's Cooking School, Emerald's Table, and Mad Hungry with Lucinda Scala Quinn, delivering over 1,200 hours of content. Since then, as an independent producer, Kalia has worked with the Cayman Islands International Film Festival and the Academy and developed several food and lifestyle projects for independent distribution. She is the founder and CEO of Kaliativity Productions and creative agency that's in the UK and the US, delivering original content in French, no less, and English. She is a James Beard and Emmy award-winning producer and lives with her family in London. Welcome, Kalia.
Thank you so much for having me, Maggie. I'm so delighted to be here.
Tell us, what does it take to produce high quality and engaging media that really inspires and educates and entertains audiences?
Well, first of all, I think there was a time when it was all kind of disjointed and learning from our former boss, Martha. I mean, there was a reason why her company's called, Omnimedia, and you had to do the full 360 because everything is connected. And that means you really have to know yourself. You have to know your brand. You have to know what you do well. You have to know how to talk to people, and you have to know your audience. And sometimes it's just a matter of finding what it is that's missing and fill in that missing link. And so sometimes we overthink things. We want to be all things to all people, but sometimes it's just a matter of having the best eraser for the job, or having the best product for what it is you're doing and not trying to be all things to all people. That's one of the things that I find if you do something really well, you can always branch out. But it's better to do that one thing really, really well when you start, and then go on. And because of that, it's also understanding who your audience is. And you don't bring Harry Styles if your market is for, a later generation. You want to bring the right person, the right talent to the right place. You can always engage an audience. You can always inform an audience. But so I think the job really is to bring a good story, whether it's a good whether you're selling a widget, whether you're selling your brand, whether you're selling yourself, it's knowing specifically what that thing is and doing it really, really well and being specific about it.
Wow. Well, that sounds like it takes some homework too and some soul search, which, you and I appreciate.
Absolutely.
And it helps so that you walk the talk yourself, because you were recently recognized for your own brand. CEO Monthly recognized you as PR CEO of the Year in London. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
So what do you enjoy most about your work, and what's challenging for you about it?
It's never boring. You're always just, and I love learning. And I think when I did my soul search with you, there's a book that you had recommended to me called The Renaissance person, or the
Renaissance Soul. Yes, good point. Right? Yeah, Margaret Lobenstein, if anyone wants to check it out.
And it's a great read. And it's also, we all, some people, if you watch Big Bang Theory, right? Sheldon's really good at that physics. That's his thing. That's what he's really good at, his whole mindset. But some of us have a lot of different skills, and we can use them in different places, and we can engage them. And in public relations, the great thing about that is that you're learning about another product, you're engaging people in what they do well, you get to try new things, new experiences, and you're constantly learning. And for me, that's one of the things that I tell my son is 11. I tell him all the time, it's about learning and finding out about things. And you don't have to be the best at it. That's
the
client who has to be the best at it. My job has to be to help them engage in telling others what they do. So I work with an incredible organization that volunteers their time in technology, and they are really, really, really good at what they do. So I've represented them for a couple of years. And one of the things that they're engaged in at the holidays is they set up these headquarters where homeless people can find a place to be safe during the holiday season.
Right.
And I've been blessed to tell their stories because they really give up a lot of time, a lot of energy, and very generously, they could be paid thousands of dollars for what they do, and they don't want that. They want to do it for the right reason. They want to give back. And I think that's one of the things is people know when you're doing it sincerely or when you're doing it for acknowledgement, right? And they are doing it because they want to make a difference, especially today with what we're seeing in the world. They want to be there and give back and help someone find that lifeline to getting back to their families or getting some food or finding a job or a place to live. Well, when you're doing public relations for that organization, it's a blessing because you too are engaged in storytelling and telling what it is that they're doing and for the reasons they're doing it. So I'm really lucky that I get to work with really wonderful people every day.
That sounds awesome. So what do you find most challenging about your work in PR and branding and events and all the wonderful things you've done? Is it the storytelling that's challenging? Is it making sure your clients are authentic about it, getting to that nugget? What is it?
I think everybody now thinks they can bypass you and work on, we have AI everywhere. So you can tell a good story. AI can tell a good story, but we also can tell when it's not a genuine story. I think the challenge is making people realize that having someone who is a living, breathing person who has their back and will be there for them and knows how to, push their story to the next level is often more fruitful than trying to be all things to all people. So I think we've all had a situation where as a startup, you think, well, I can be my own accountant, my own this, my own that, my own the other, my own that. Well, I've discovered that I am a lousy accountant. My bookkeeping and I don't know anything about how Her Royal Majesty or His Royal Highness or His Royal Majesty, the King of England, runs his taxation thing here in England. And so I am far better off giving off a little bit of my time and hiring someone who knows what they're doing to get the job done well. So one of the things you have to do is convince people that they really do need someone who knows public relations, who knows branding, who knows how to tell a story. And I am my worst branding. I can't tell my story for all the gold in North America. I can hear you tell my story, but I look at my story and go,
you did say that, by the way, when we were getting ready for this, you're like, well, here's some things about me. And I don't know if it's that good. I'm reading it. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. Yeah, I can see that. That's funny.
Because for me, it's just, what did you do on Tuesday? Well, I went there. It's not it's not that fascinating to me.
Well, part of your brand is your humility. That's very authentic for you. So I think that's a positive.
Well, and I think that's part of also telling someone else's story is knowing when is it going to interest someone? When are they just pushing too hard? And when is it going to really engage an audience? And I think being truthful. I mean, I learned that in acting school when I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I came in as somebody who had been taught to act, and then spent 3 years beating the heck out of me that wasn't what an actor does. An actor tells a story that has to come from somewhere that's really honest. And I think having seen a lot of actors who are fantastic, dramatic, something, but they're not showing the truth. And I think some of the best actors in the world are the people who really let you into their soul. And I think that's why it's so hard for them, right? Because they're letting you into their real depth of who they are. And that's a good story. That's when it becomes really
That's engaging. Yeah, that's compelling. Wow. Are there other success factors you've seen for personal branding that you think would help people?
Trusting that your audience that your audience wants to like you, right? They want to like you. No one wants to go. You don't go to a theater, or you don't go out to the movies and think, I want to hate this film. You think, I've spent $20. I want to love this film. I don't want to walk out and go, ugh. I wanted to love Wonka, and I loved Wonka. I walked out of there. I was happy. I had a great day. I really had been engaged. I didn't go in to say, well, is it truly going to optimize the story of so-and-so? No, I wanted to go in. I wanted to love Timothée Chalamet. I wanted to love the storytelling. I wanted to enjoy I just wanted to be engaged. That's what really good storytelling and branding is. I mean, it's all the same thing, right? It's about engaging people in such a way where you want them to like you, right? And I think one of the things we do too many times is we judge ourselves. We're so busy wearing so many hats that it's like, as even when I was writing I was writing my own bio to send to you, I was like, well, this isn't a great story. Well, it's because you're so used to comparing yourself to everybody else. And there's so many people you can compare yourself to. But when you
can always compare yourself to somebody who's done something you haven't done.
Exactly. Right. You stop comparing yourself to others and really see who you are for your best person and your best thing. I think that's when you're at your best. I think also when we go into a room, whether it's for, a job interview or for whatever, the reason we're in that room is because somebody wants us there. And I think that's really important, whether you're auditioning for a play, whether you're meeting your next boss, whether you're buying a cup of coffee at Starbucks. They want you there. They want you to be there. They're not saying, please don't come in and buy a cup of coffee. They're saying, please come in, tell us what kind of coffee you want, and we will make you the best coffee you can have. That to me is why having your best brand and your best you is what you have to do. I mean, even it's funny, you don't think about it, but you walk out of the door in the morning, you're selling your brand, right? You're taking your kid to school, you're selling your brand. People see you at your best and your worst. And that's telling the story you want them to see. Are you telling them the story that, you like to wear pajamas to work every day, or telling them one day?
I have seen more pajamas lately.
I have a lot of pajamas, and I think I've been one of them wearing them. So hey, I live 4 minutes from my son's school. So, but that's also saying who I am in a lot of ways, right? I mean, I am
showing another side, right?
And also the real side of me. I mean, this is who I am. This is what I am. And so I think it's important, I
have a feeling your pajamas are pretty nice though.
But we've spoken about how many brands in this one conversation, right? Timothée Chalamet. We've spoken about Wonka. We've spoken about brands that we see every day. And these are people who, and things and items and events and venues, that
experiences, right?
That are commonplace because they've really framed it in such a way. They've told you their story in such a way that it's either a story you buy into or it's a story you don't buy into, but it's a brand and it's what's around you. And we as people in the entertainment industry or public relations or whatever can learn so much by other people's success and failures. And, when I worked at the Eugene Theater Center, one of the things that they later branded into their, into the acting part of it, into the, because it's a several components. I was at the playwrights conference. And one of the things that they really, really say is, dare to fail, and fail again. And most of the people we really respect out there have failed. Most of the people we like and love have, Fred Astaire was told that he was too scrawny and his hands were too long. Barbara Streisand was told she couldn't, but she'd never make it. Well, we've just seen that, she's just published her biography, kind of a rebuttal of, yeah, she could make it, and boy, did she do it her way. So a lot of times the people we look to the most as some of the most promising and engaging people out there are people who have really failed and tried again and never let that setback put them in the backyard.
Right. So they let it build their brand, to not stop their brand. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, we also learned from, the woman we both worked for, who could have said, thrown in the towel and said, I'm never going to do this again. And, nobody wants me around. Or we could say, wow, look at what she accomplished despite all of things we went through.
She was just on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Exactly.
At 80 years old or 79. I mean,
so exactly.
It's really amazing. An authentic brand too. That was interesting working at the company. Right. Yeah. And I know, and obviously interacting with you and others at how much she really does live the way she promotes. And I think that's what people also buy into. They love the authenticity. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to stay honest. It's important to be accurate. I think one of the things that's really going to be crucial is, we're all talking about sustainability, and we're all talking about giving back and charity work. And, if you're a brand that sells clothes, if you go bring your old clothes to that store, you can get a coupon or something. These are things that people want more and more, but it better be honest, because if all you're doing is telling them, something you're going to give back to charity, and someone finds out, that you got to be as straightforward and truthful as can be.
Well, Kalia, you've been so helpful today. Thank you so much for taking the time. Where can people find out more about you?
So they can follow me on Instagram at Caliativity. My company is Caliativity Productions. So I'm www.caliativityproductions.com. And obviously, anyone who watches your show gets a 10% discount. That's a given.
Hey, cool.
And actually, anyone who wants to talk about branding, I always give a free consultation. So happy to talk about your personal brand and how to get you to the next level.
Well, thank you so much. You are helping us all become our authentic selves in the world. And, that's something I love too. So thank you so much for that.
That's why we work so well together.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, happy holidays. Thank you again. And I appreciate it.
Same to you. And thank you so much for having me on your show. I really, 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 really appreciate it.
Now that we've heard from Kalia, it's time for your career tip about what to do if you have too many interests. If you tuned in last month, you've probably written down all your interests. But what if you have too many? Don't worry, you're not alone. It's a concern many of my clients raise. My clients often lament, if only I could stick with one thing. If only I knew what I wanted to be. If only I didn't have so many interests. Instead of this negative perspective, let's reverse it. Remember, changing your mind can change the outcome. Get my book, Are You Ready to Love Your Job? And read that tip if you need reminding. Having many interests can be beneficial to your career. How? Having many interests makes you more adaptable and flexible in the fast-changing world of work that we now live in. It can also make you more stable, as you don't put all your career eggs in one basket. To get ideas on how you can create a career that fits all of your interests, here are a few actions to consider. Double-check, validate your thinking. Many of us don't see our own passions and interests as clearly as others. Therefore, to validate your thinking, you can ask someone else. Questions might include, what ideas, thoughts, or subjects do I normally talk about? And if you can match me with a career that meets my interests, what do you think that I'd be doing? Next, you can prioritize. Yes, we all start with a long list, and perhaps asking others augments this list. Now, let's take it and see if we can give each interest a score. Using a scale of 1 to 5, With a 5 showing a high interest and 1 showing a low interest, mark each one. Then reorder your interests with the most interesting on top. Next, you can embrace your multiple interests. You still have many interests that you scored a 4 or 5? Okay. Well, don't worry. You're not alone with your multiple interests. Careers do exist for you. In her book, One Person, Multiple Careers, Marcy Albaher coined the phrase /careers, where you can be a banker, writer, firefighter. That's banker/writer/firefighter. And sometimes that's what we need to create with our ideal career. The Renaissance Soul by Margaret Lopenstein is another great book. She compares someone with many interests to the likes of Leonardo da Vinci during the Renaissance, and we all know how fortunate the world was to have him pursue his many interests. Get a Life, Not a Job by Paula Caligiuri says your multiple interests can lead you to multiple career income streams. You don't need to make all your money from a single job. The key is to look at your many interests not as being scattered or as a lack of focus, but as an opportunity to enjoy a multifaceted career. Make your interests an integral part of your ideal career and start making a contribution every day. Listen in next month when we'll focus on the skills you want to use, not just the skills you have. To hear more tips like this, check out previous episodes of Making a Living with Maggie and purchase my book, Are You Ready to Love Your Job? Make a Great Living Through Soul Search, Research, and Job Search. Available at MaggieMistel.com and on Amazon, where it ranked as the #1 new release in Job Search. Well, I'm sorry to say that we've run out of time. Thanks for joining again. I'll be back next month. Next year, in fact. Here's a quote to keep you inspired from Wayne Dyer. I am realistic. I expect miracles. Thanks for listening. I'm Maggie Mistel, your career coach, inspiring you to make a great living.
To understand more about how Maggie can help with your individual career needs and goals, contact her at MaggieMistel.com or Facebook.com/MakingALivingWithMaggieMistel. Together, we can all make a great living. Great living.